It's 9 o'clock. Good morning, I'm Olivia Dillon. While humanitarian aid makes its way into Gaza, there are reports phone and internet services are being partially restored. Connections are being gradually restored in central and southern Gaza following nearly 3 days of communications blackouts. Rotary Australia is now accepting donations for those who lost their homes or businesses in the Abermain bushfire last week. 5 houses were destroyed by the blaze, which has been contained after burning through around 850 hectares of land around Abermain, Kurri Kurri, Pelham and Weston. Around 11 were damaged and a dozen businesses lost. The online fundraiser can be found on Rotary's website and has been kick-started by a $5,000 donation from Cessnock Council. A drop-off centre has also been established at Kurri Kurri Community Services. As affected families also prepare for Christmas, we're being encouraged to donate what food, clothes, toiletries and gifts we have to spare. Latest data shows the national road toll is at its highest in almost 5 years. More than 1,200 Australians have lost their lives on the country's roads in the last year. The Australian Automobile Association is urging both the state and federal governments to release data about the most dangerous areas so further crashes can be avoided. Managing Director Michael Bradley says the figures are dire.
It's been a year of tragedy for hundreds of Australian families who will this week be preparing for Christmas without a loved one. These numbers show that we need to change the way we manage road safety in 2024.
Holidaymakers caught up in the fierce flooding in far north Queensland are being reminded to listen to advice from emergency services. Tropical cyclone Jasper has left a trail of flooding, with Cairns Airport closed and houses inundated across the region. Port Douglas Shire Mayor Michael Kerr says the tourist hotspot has so far avoided the worst of it.
It is unfortunate we've got these risky flood areas in low-lying areas. Port Douglas itself, where the main accommodation properties are, usually built pretty well under the Q100 standards, so flooding isn't such a great issue for them.
Federal police have been working with international partners to dismantle drug syndicates spanning across 34 countries. They prevented up to 49 million tonnes of illicit drugs reaching Australian shores. Billions of dollars worth of methamphetamine, cocaine and heroin have been seized in the last financial year. Meantime, the state's police watchdog is working to ensure investigations into police-related shootings are being thoroughly looked over. The Prime Minister is under pressure from his own party to put higher emissions reduction targets in place. News Corp reports members from both the unions and Labor are urging Anthony Albanese to adopt a target of more than 70% by 2035. Also making news, independent schools are raising school fees by as much as 15% next year to offset the rising expense of teacher salaries. Motorists who've kept a clean driving record this year will be eligible to have 1 demerit point removed from their licence next month under the state government's 1-year safe driving trial. And a 26-year-old man has died following a motorcycle crash in Maitland at the weekend. Police say the rider of a Yamaha motorcycle lost control when trying to negotiate a bend on Houseman Drive at Thornton at around 12:30am on Saturday. It's understood he was thrown from the vehicle and hit a tree. A report is being prepared for the coroner.
2NURFM Sport.
The West Test has finished a day early after Australia crushed Pakistan by 360 runs in Perth. Nathan Lyon reached a cricketing milestone with his 500th Test wicket, joining the ranks of Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne. Captain Pat Cummins thinks the spin bowler has plenty more wickets up his sleeve.
I still think you've got, say, 40, 50 Test matches. That's 4 or 5 years, 10 a year. Probably average, 4 a game? It's another couple hundred. 700.
Liverpool has conceded its place at the top of the Premier League ladder after a 0-0 draw against long-term rivals Man United. Arsenal now tops the leaderboard after a 2-0 win over Brighton, wins also for West Ham and Aston Villa. And the Sydney Kings are back on track after a 90-82 victory over the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers in the NBL. Jalen Galloway came off the bench to score a career-high 22 points. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM news.